started in 2006. My role was really minor. I didn't even have any clue about the industry itself. I worked mainly as a messenger because back at the time, the translation company specialized in patent translations. And that time, the documents, the patents were delivered, at least sent to translation in paper. So my job was go into the law firms here in Rio and collect the patents and bring back to the office so we could send to the translators by fax machine. Yeah. It's strange to think how things evolved, but yeah, I remember doing that. So I started like that, and I didn't even have any idea of the translation and localization industry. It was just picking up and delivering documents. So, and after that, I moved to project management. There, I started to understand the role that we play in the industry. And I stayed in project management for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe a little bit less. Then moved to the business development when I stay until nowadays that I work mainly with that. Actually, when I moved to the project management, like in 2010, something like that, even there, I didn't have a glance of what was the industry. I knew what we're doing and where we were in our place, but our company wasn't open to the industry. The only association that I was aware of, it was Abrates here in Brazil, but it's more related to translators, and it's the person itself. It's not about the industry. Of course, you have the industry there. It's a niche, right? It's just for translators. You have companies, yeah, but it's more related to translators. And the first time that I noticed the industry itself, it was in 2019 when I first attended to GALA. It was in Munich. And there whoa, this is the industry. Yeah, that's really good. And I felt very, very good there. Business development, it's the trickiest role that I've played. Like project management, we have our difficulties. We face problems in daily basis. The business development part, it's really tricky that you have to have a big your mental has to be like really strong, especially in the beginning when you don't know what are you expecting, right? Because when I started, I was reading and I went to courses and everything. But of course, in theory, it's easier than when you go to practice. And in business development, you have to understand and accept no, the no part, like many times, and you have to be okay with that, because I don't know, when preparing to a big conference to reach clients and prospects and leads and everything, it's like I would send, for example, I would send like 1,000 emails, and I don't know, probably, and I'll reach 1,000 people, and probably like 100 or even less people would respond, even to say no. So sometimes you just feel a lot alone a lot, because sometimes you just speak or send a message and you don't even get a reply. You don't talk to anyone. So this is the hardest part in business development, but I just love it because not that part, of course, but I love the thing that with that I could like know and meet so many people, so many cultures, and I grew up as a person, and of course professionally as well, but as a person a lot, talking with different people, different backgrounds, different cultures, different countries, and going to other countries, going to other cities, and visiting, and everything related to culture, to this diversity that we have in the world. It's just amazing. And the business development allow us to be part of it, right? In being part of it, even if it's a no answer, you have the opportunity to talk to someone. And I like, of course, the planning, to see what is, to investigate, to to look for people, read about the companies, read about the people, and look for the right person. It's really tiring. It's time consuming, but it's really nice to do that. I really love to check everything and no, this is the right person. Let me try to reach her. Oh, I couldn't talk to her. That's bad, but let's move on. There's a lot of people that we have to talk. So it's a never ending job, and it's always good to when we get a new client, like, oh, I think it's one of the best sensations in the world. The first conference that I attended, translation conference that I attended, it was GALA in Munich in 2019, and I felt so embraced. I felt so good being part of a community, because I always participated in conference related to legal or intellectual property. And it's different because when I go there, I'm a supplier and a supplier only. I'm not part of that community. I know intellectual property, I know some part of legal, I've studied a lot, so I can be part of the conversations, but I'm not part of the community. I'm always seen as a supplier. And this is different because when you are part of the community, you participate in the conversations, and just felt naturally for me, it's like I have to participate in that because this is what we do. This is what I want to contribute. This I have something to add on this movement, right? And from that time, from that gala in Munich, I just like said, no, I returned to the company and said, no, we have to participate more. We have to be more engaged in the association, and we have to be more engaged in the translation localization industry. And I step up and no, I'll be part of it. Let's see what I can do, and it will not jeopardize my job. I can manage things and everything. And in Munich also we started conversations about bringing the association here in Brazil that never had the translation for translation companies. And after that, it just felt right, being there in GALA. And so I want to participate more. So I enter in the committee member program and be part of the webinars. That I'm always open to participate, to be a moderator. I don't feel that I have enough material yet to be in a webinar like presenting, but for moderating, I'm most glad to participate. In anything that GALA needs, I'll be there participating, because I know that with BLISS, the Brazilian Association, and GALA before the first one, I know that the association is what the members are. The association needs to the member participation. Yeah, a lot of challenges. Being the first and the only association here in Brazil, it's challenged by nature, because this is something that, like, the most prominent Brazilian in the industry, Renato Beninato, tried like 20 years ago more, and it was not possible. And I think it's a lot about the culture. Like that in Munich 2019, we started the conversation. We could, I don't know if it was like a comet that was passing by that time, and we could find like 8 companies that agree and converge to create this association. And the challenge is huge, actually, because as industry, we know that our industry is highly fragmented. In Brazil, I believe it's even more, because here we have a lot, but so many companies, there is only one person. But we have also big companies that do not participate, do not engage in any association, and see with a lot of restrictions this kind of participation. I understand. I really understand, because this was something that we used to think here in our company as well. I brought a new vision regarding that, because the main thing about the associations, it's coopetition, right? Because everyone is a competitor inside the association, right? We are competitors in certain levels and everything, but we decided that as a group, we could evolve, we can share. The sharing of knowledge is the best for all of us. So this is one of the things that I think this is the main challenge that we have to overcome here in Brazil. Try to make people understand the meaning of competition and embrace it, because most of the times we are really self-centered in our companies. It's not wrong. There is no right and wrong in this. It's a matter of strategy, but we are most of the time we are really self-centered in our companies, and okay about that. But when we decide to share, I think it's so much more. You gain so much more perspectives. And this becomes a win-win situation, because you are part of it. Because the Brazilian market, it's not known. We don't know about the Brazilian market. What is the Brazilian market? We know some companies that respond and answer some surveys that named the CSA research to do it, but we do not know the real Brazilian market, because we know that there's companies, there are big companies, but they are like, not, it's not the correct word, but they are in the shadows of this knowledge of market, and I believe that the time that we really know the Brazilian market, and we can see the big perspective of the Brazilian market, I think this will be like much better for all the companies, and the clients will notice the Brazilian as a huge market. They will have more trust in working with the companies. But some companies see like, oh no, this is a small company, we prefer the biggest one. But if you see as a serious market, a big market, you have more trust and you have more confidence with the clients. As I said, the Brazilian market, it's not a no, we don't know the current size or the correct size of the Brazilian market. And in some point, similar in the South American, we know about Argentina. Argentina, they are more developing this type of things. They are more organized. They already have, I think, 2 associations. One that they embrace companies and translators. The other one is more for companies, and they are more evolved in this part of the culture. They are more use it to share, to be in associations, right? You can see they as a group in the conferences, right? They are really ahead of us in this part of competition, right? But they are just I think they are like an island in the South America, because I think they are the only ones. Because Brazil, we have now BLISS, okay, but it's still like in beginning. We have only 15, 16 companies, but the other ones, you don't have any as well. If you go to Chile, you go to Colombia, Mexico, they don't have associations either, and you just don't know the size of it. We have some companies that answer the CSA report and NIMDS report, and you can see one company there, but you don't see the market itself. In the South American, it's a huge continent, but we have mostly, of course, there are indigenous and small other languages, but the main ones are only 2: Brazilian Portuguese, because Brazil is the biggest one, and Spanish. But if you go to localization, you can spread this Spanish in several types of Spanish, because each country has his different way to say, and slangs and everything different, right? But yeah, the South American market, it's a big like question mark, because some companies, their size and everything, but you don't have the big picture. You don't have the current size and everything. But I think we are working towards it. We have BLISS, we have Juntos as well, that started like almost at the same time as BLISS. They are trying to bring this site, this look at the South American Caribbean area. It's really good, this movement as well, because I think when we know where we are, I think it will be much better to set like goals and where we can be and where we can go, you know. So yeah, I think there's a lot to come. I think there's a lot, so many challenges for us, but I think we will get there. We'll get there and bring all the companies to be together and who knows, bring a GALA conference here to South America.